Welcome to episode 16 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. I'm Scott Sturman, and I'm joined today with Matt Deitch, like always. And we got out this last weekend, did a little ice fishing over on East Okoboji. We decided it was awesome. Better go back last night, and last night was not the same.
Nah, it really wasn't. The bite was a little different. It seemed like we were marking a lot of fish. Just to get them to commit was, I don't know, they just were real finicky, it seemed, last night. We tried different size jigs, we tried plastic, meat, different colors of everything, and it just didn't seem like they really wanted to fire up. Every once in a while you get into a little bit of a flurry where it was like, oh, okay, here they are. It's going to start going, but just never was as good as we expected it to really be.
Yeah, after Sunday, all I could think about all day Monday was, oh man, we're gonna get out there, and it's just
it's a long day of work.
And it almost seemed like it was going to be, because you dropped down and caught two right off the bat, bam, bam, and it was like, yep, we're still on them. But no, that just was not the case last night, and yeah, I guess that's just the way it goes. I mean, I don't know if it was pressure systems or if it was, the weather didn't really change that much in between those 2 days, and a lot more pressure. I was really amazed for a Monday night. I feel like there was maybe even more people out there last night than there possibly was on Sunday.
I was surprised getting there to see what the amount of people that was there. I don't know, maybe Lorth knew that we were coming back and decided to chase the fish away. I never really thought of that. That could have been it,
Yeah, probably dropping bananas down the hole or something.
But no, it was a lot of fun on Sunday getting out. I think the cool thing about Sunday was not only did we have your kids out, but we also had one person who was their first time ice fishing ever, which was kind of neat, and he picked up on it quite quickly. I mean, he kind of put on a show right away.
Yeah, we had Art Grimes and Austin Van Vorst, and Austin had been ice fishing before, but relatively new to the sport. I think this year was his first year that he's really started taking it seriously, and yeah, Art put on a clinic. He caught a lot of fish, and he was the first one to pull up a nice crappie, and it was like, holy smokes. But
on the way over, he did tell us that his wife told him that he better come home with fish, otherwise not come home at all, right?
When your back's against the wall, you don't have a choice. You got to do it. But no, that was a lot of fun. Grady and Aubrey both fished pretty well. It was a lot of fun doing that.
And I'll give you a lot of credit. You kind of put your fishing to the side on Sunday, and you were kind of helping the kids and helping Art kind of get going, drilling some holes, kind of showing them guys the ropes a little bit. So, and taking pictures and videos of us. I mean, if you haven't went and checked out that video that Scott put together on our Facebook page, definitely go do it. It's a pretty sweet little video. Just a minute and 40-second clip.
Yeah, a minute and a half or
just
something.
Some clips, some videos, some pictures of the highlights of that day. It was a lot of fun. Like you said, it was a good time out on the ice with everybody.
Yep. No, that's one thing that I've kind of realized as I've started to take my kids more often. I either need to tell myself, hey, Scott, you can't fish at all, or I'm just going to go, hammer down, and then I don't really pay attention to the things I need to be paying attention. And both Grady and Aubrey are getting to the point now where they can run the Vexlar.
They do a great job of all that.
They don't need a ton of help, but 11-year-olds do need help from time to time, and that's just all part of it. But
and then you did get in on the action a little bit. You got a nice largemouth that one time.
Yeah, I did catch. I caught a couple bluegills and caught a largemouth, and so that did feel good. It's always nice to at least catch one fish when you're out there. But no, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, last night just wasn't. Although, on our way over there, we said that we wanted to catch one northern on a tip-up, and I wanted to catch one nice big crappie, and we did both of those. So it definitely wasn't a wasted trip. I do think that it is quite possible that might be our last ice fishing of the season.
It could be, just the way schedules play out and with the forecast. Today, 50 degrees out there, a lot of stuff was melting. That ice just from Sunday to Monday, it's crazy how much it changed. There's a lot of slush on top of the ice on Monday compared to what there was on Sunday. It was definitely softer.
Yep, and it's really starting to honeycomb, and to get onto the lake might be the biggest challenge.
We had to. You definitely need knee-high boots, or if it's going to get to that point if you're if you're wild enough to get out there, people will put waders on to get out there to the good ice.
Yep, I would say the first 10 steps to get onto the ice right now, where we were there on East Okoboji, was, you know, you're popping through, you know, slush on the water and whatever. Once you get out there, the ice is good.
It's thick, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good ice,
It's
but
getting soft.
It's plenty thick to do what you want to do out there. One thing that I noticed that was kind of cool was from Sunday to Monday, when we went back to the same holes that we had been at the day before, how much the holes had grown. You know, we popped 6-inch holes that when we came back, they looked more like 8-inch holes, and they really kind of coned out on the bottom.
Yeah, they really did.
And
and there was some that someone must have had a 10-inch auger out there this weekend, and those things were big, you know. And then the bottom of it, it was crazy to see the difference that a day will make this time of year.
Yep.
And you know, today, the last day of winter officially today. Spring starts tomorrow, so you know it was a good ice season.
Oh, definitely.
We battled a lot of different types of weather this year. We had extreme colds. We had a lot of snowstorms where we weren't able to get out on some of the trips that we wanted to, or you know, it always seemed like it happened on a Saturday or Sunday.
Definitely, the storms always do.
So it was always like, well, you know, we were planning on going fishing, but they're calling for 5 to 8 inches of snow today, and it's supposed to be windy, and it just, a lot of times didn't work out, but we made the best of it.
Yep. Looking back on the ice season, Matt, what would be your highlight? What was your favorite thing?
Oh, I think our trip out to the Black Hills.
Yeah,
for sure. That was a lot of fun. It's something new, totally different type of fishing for trout. Never really, obviously, have never done that. So I think that would be the highlight. Just, I mean, everything from the trip out there to being out there and fishing in different scenery like that, different type of fishing. Even though when we were out there, we didn't catch any lake trout, it was still cool trying for them. So it's just a little bit different.
Yep.
Than what we're used to. How about yourself?
I would definitely say the hooked on hard water would be my highlight to my year. Obviously, our trip when we went out there, that ranks up there also, you know, and it's a lot more than just the fishing. It's the, you know, getting a cabin with your buddies and the drive out, the stories, you know. It's so much more than just the fishing when you take a fishing trip like that, and that's just kind of
the fish fry that night.
Oh,
in the cabin,
that was awesome.
Yeah, brats out on the ice.
Yep,
that's what it was about. The fishing was just kind of, you know, catching fish was just kind of the bonus.
Yep, and you know, like you said, something totally different, but you know, fish in deeper water than what we've ever had experience with, and you know, knowing that
actually going out to like 60 feet of water for a purpose, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was definitely right up there, but yeah, hooked on hard water for me would be it. And you know, that there too, that was way more than just the fishing. You know, that was everything that comes along with it. And yeah, looking forward to spring.
Yeah, it'll be here fast. Like I said, we get some windy, rainy days. That ice is going to go in a hurry.
Yeah, well, and this weekend, I believe it's supposed to rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
With the chance of it being 60 degrees out, too, I think.
Yeah.
That's from what I heard, anyway.
A little bit of wind comes up, and once
you get something opened up,
start opening up.
Yep, it's going to...
Art and Austin actually ran over to Spirit Lake after we got off the ice with them on East, and they said that there was some spots of open water and whatnot there on Spirit. And I don't know what that would be from, but if those spots open up with the nice weather and a little bit of wind comes along, it could be toast pretty fast.
Yeah, so if you're planning on going out these next few days or this weekend and hitting it up, even some of you guys north of here, you know, you start getting up into Minnesota and northeast South Dakota, some of those areas, it just remember, use caution, just like what we talked about early in the ice season with early ice. Late ice is worse than early ice. There may be a lot of it, but again, it's soft. It's unpredictable. It might be fine when you walk out there in the morning, but you got to be alert and aware of it the whole day, because Yeah, those shorelines go. We've seen it many of times where there's ice rescues this time of year where they have to go out there and save a bunch of fishermen because the ice kind of shifted or the wind came up and it broke free and blew it to one side of the lake. So just have your ice picks with you. If you got the flotation suits, wear those. Bring rope. Definitely have somebody along with you.
Yeah, don't go out alone this time of year by yourself. That's not worth it.
Or if you're going to go, make sure there's other people around.
Yep.
I mean, it's not worth risking not only putting yourself into danger, but then you put everybody else in danger who is trying to come out there and help you out. So just, be aware of that stuff. And, yeah, it's great fishing this time of year. But, again, it's not worth risking your or other people's lives.
Yep. And I really think 2 to 3 weeks from now we could be fishing some open water.
Oh, I think we will be.
Yep.
I really think so. Definitely 3 weeks from now. At first, here a couple weeks ago, we kept talking about this on our way over to the lakes yesterday of how we thought for sure we'd be on solid ice well into April this year. It's like, man, is it going to be out by May? It's going to be out by May the way it's going.
Yeah, I definitely made the mistake for me jinxing the fact that I know you don't think that it was a jinx. I know you think it's great, but I feel like I jinxed us and had this great weather come along, and along with the great weather, a lot of rain, and I guess we'd also like to say that we're definitely thinking of those people out in South Dakota and Nebraska. That is a bad deal.
Yeah, it really is. That flooding, it's really crazy to see it. It's devastating. I think I saw or heard on the radio on my way over here that there's thousands of people whose homes have been destroyed.
I didn't realize that the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation has got something going on. They must have some really substantial flooding.
Oh, I didn't. That's the first
I'm not even sure exactly where the Pine Ridge is, but I think it's south central South Dakota. But I know that they got hammered with a lot of snow out there, so that could be it too.
I talked to somebody whose parents live out there by Murdo, South Dakota, and I know that they were out there this weekend, and it looked like some of the underpasses on the interstate, like under them, it was almost packed full of snow. I mean, some of the pictures I saw were as high as the tractors of some of the drifts that they were breaking out there in South Dakota. So it's crazy how over here we're dealing with the flooding, and out there they had a massive amount of snow. And it's only really, in all reality, 3 hours difference.
Right. And yeah, that's really, not that fishing is any more important, but it's really going to screw up spring fishing on all the rivers. I mean,
and they're talking now that there's obviously more flooding coming because this time of the year, usually you're just waiting for the snow melt to impact everything. Well, we got all this now and it's flooding already. Well, the snow is starting to melt and it's starting to come down. I know like the city of Sioux Falls is they shut down the Falls Park area and all that.
Yep, I think they're evacuating people because they're planning on flooding on this coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's the rain that's coming or if they're just predicting that much snow melt up north or what, but whatever the case, it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal all the way around.
I have a former classmate of mine, a high school classmate, that her and her husband just spent the last couple years building a new house down there kind of by the Fremont Mills area, I think, area of Iowa, just in that corner, kind of the Nebraska corner and Iowa corner. And I saw pictures of it. It's completely surrounded by floodwaters, and you've went through this before, so it's nothing good.
No, I don't wish flooding on anyone. It's one thing to have a damp basement. It's another thing to watch your house floating. So, nope, that ain't good. But do you have any goals set for this summer or open water fishing in general?
Oh, you always have to have goals. We had it going into ice fishing. As far as open water fishing goes, I want to get out more in the spring. Try to get on those early walleye bites. Summer-wise, I would like to fish a few more tournaments this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm for that.
After last weekend, or after our last episode talking with Troy about it and everything. I've really, the other day I was sitting there and I looked up the co-angler stuff on those Bassmaster Opens and the Wisconsin one. I'm kind of contemplating
Oh, you got to
registering and seeing if I can get into it. I think it'd be a lot of fun, a great learning experience, and some more local tournaments. Some, the old bass club that I used to fish in, maybe get in, fish a couple of those tournaments. There's some open tournaments over at Okoboji every once in a while that are kind of fun to do. So
I've always lived my life that I would rather look back and say, golly, I can't believe I did that, than look back and say, golly, I wish I would have. And
yeah,
I don't know. I would love to see you out there on a tournament, and maybe you fall, but yeah, you got to try it. You got to
still learn from it and everything. It's still a fun experience. I've fished in tournaments before, and we've done well, and there's tournaments where we've done poorly. It's just all part of it. So,
but you meet people and everything else, and
met a lot of cool people doing it. Some guys that are actually fished against some guys that are on pro tours now, when they were early in their careers, and so it was kind of cool to talk to those guys and see those guys fish. And yeah, so that's things like that. How yours?
Well, I definitely, last year I never made it over with you to pitch jigs for walleyes, and that's definitely something that is on my list of things to do. I know me, my brother, my dad, and my son are looking into a Canada fly-in trip. That I definitely think that would just be a whole lot of fun. You fly out on a float plane, you land on a lake, you're the only cabin on the lake, and they basically say, see you in 5 days, and that would be fun.
The Sturman, man.
Yep, just us doing guys stuff.
Definitely a good time.
Making beef jerky.
You and Grady talking, Rick and Leroy just listening.
Yep, and I said to my brother, I'd like to fish one day with Grady. I'd like to fish one day with my dad. I'd like to fish one day with Eric, and just get out on the boat with them.
And then the fun thing about it too is with everything right there, you can go out and fish for an hour, and you could do it all in one day with everybody. Is the fun thing.
Yep. And another thing, obviously, with me buying your boat, I gotta expand my horizons with boat fishing. I've always been a shore fisherman, jigging off docks or casting Mr. Twisters in the river, and I'd like to try to get better at doing some trolling and doing all that type of stuff. And it's not something that is familiar for me, but there's only one way you can go from there. So
yeah, it's get out there and time on the water like we talked about last week, and you'd be surprised at how fast you start picking things up and start reading things.
Once I get the gear to do it, I don't have trolling rods. I don't have much of the bait that you would use to troll. But, if you go to the bait shop or you go to the sporting goods store and you spend $10 here or $18 there, and slowly but surely you stock up on stuff. And
you and I were talking the other day about it with Ramsey. We got such a great place in our area here to buy fishing equipment at the Factory Fisherman's Outlet, the Berkeley
definitely
Factory Fisherman's Outlet over there in Spirit Lake. They have great deals on stuff. I know I've bought like some line counter reels over there before that are like normally $100 and some for like $60.
Yep,
you can get some rods and
the holiday weekends.
Oh yeah, they always have great tent sales and stuff like that. So yeah, you can save half the money compared to going and buying new at a store.
Yep.
Now, I mean, that's obviously on like the pure fishing products, but I mean, they make great products there, and
that's probably what I'd buy either way. I mean,
and especially if you're looking to get into an inexpensive way, for a lot of people, instead of, I know sometimes they have deals where their rods are 50% off. Well, you can get two for the price of one there. Well, there's two rods, and you can get different length of rod, a different type of rod to meet different types of fishing situations. So I mean, definitely I suggest for people to take a look at that.
And another thing, it's kind of off subject here, but I think a lot of people think that you got to have hundreds of dollars worth of tackle in order to get out there.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You know, we deal with this like when we have a friend that's getting into ice fishing. You know, buy a flasher, buy a rod, and buy a few jigs, and slowly but surely, you know, work your way up. You don't need to have it all at once.
No, you don't need to go out and buy a custom rod right away and, you know, the most expensive reel. I mean, if you have the means to do it and you want to, go right ahead and do it. But if it's something that you aren't 100% unsure, you want to try it out, just kind of ease into it a little bit.
Yep.
Or go with somebody that has the equipment just to give it a try.
Definitely.
You know, we've done that before where we've brought people along and here. I mean, a lot of times when I take people out in the boat, they want to go fishing, but I don't have the stuff. Well, come along and you can use my stuff.
Yep. Well, like Art this last weekend, Art didn't have any stuff, and he used one of my rods and used my flasher. We all sat outside of the shacks. You know, we obviously drilled the holes, but yeah, then he realized, you know what, I think this is something that I could get into. He went and bought a rod over at Cable's Trading Post, and it was normally a $50 or $60 combo, and he got it for $25-$30 because they're smoking hot deals right now. And yeah, and you know, by next year, I imagine he'll have a little bit more gear. You know, pay attention to Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and you'll find people selling their gear in the off season. And
oh yeah,
yep.
And one thing to Art, it's not always going to be like that.
No, definitely not. We've had more days the other way than we have days like that.
Yeah, but it's always good to start off with a day like that. But yeah, you know, as far as those deals, get out there, check them out. All the stores are starting to have their open water gear out. A lot of them are starting to run sales now. Shields has a big sale going on right now this week. Yeah, go out there. Now's the time. Like crankbaits a lot of times are $1 off. You know, it may not sound like a lot, but in the long run, if you buy quite a few of them, it is. A lot of times they have like 50% off of their jigs. Their rods are really good deals right now too. So if you are looking to get into open water fishing or you need new equipment, go check some of these stores out, and a lot of online outlet or tackle companies that are having their sales go. And if you have any questions on what to get, just let us know. You know, message us.
Yeah, you can message Matt, or you can message me, and I'll ask Matt for you.
Comment on these things. You can never have enough jigs.
Yep.
You know, my brother texted me last night, Brant, and he was kind of suggesting some things for us to talk about. And he was like, you know, ice out early spring lures for different things. Well, early spring for walleyes, you need jig heads, and you can throw minnows on those. Go get minnows, put them on there. Get like 1/8 ounce and 1/4 ounce for sure. If you're fishing in any type of current or deeper water, then you might need to get into the 3/8 ounce. But I don't know, 1/8 ounce jigs and 1/4 ounce jigs are what I throw a ton of. And get some type of soft plastics, whether it be twister tails this time of year, work really well. Just minnow, like kind of jerk bait type baits, and also kind of like a swim bait, kind of like a, you know, B fishing tackle has like the Moxie and the Pulsars are pretty good ones. Ripple shads by Berkeley are good little baits, and they come in all different sizes. You know, sometimes people can get intimidated by like that, but sometimes 3 inch is probably the all around good one.
Yeah, I throw a lot of 2.5s down here in the river. That's just kind of what I've always done. But
and you know, and there's obviously you can get your crankbaits, your jerk baits earlier this time of year, because a lot of them are getting ready for spawn, so they're going to be coming up into the shallows. I mean, that's where you're going to find a lot of your fish after ice out. But again, if you are targeting such things as like walleyes right after ice out, remember to release those big females. Yeah, that's why a lot of states have seasons on them. South Dakota doesn't. Iowa only over at like the Iowa Great Lakes and I think Storm Lake, and I don't know where else. But those are the ones up in this area that there is a closed season on them. It's closed right now, and it will open up the first weekend of May, and they have their big walleye weekend over there. So, you know, Just be conscious of those things.
When does Minnesota open?
Second weekend of May, I believe.
And I saw a deal that they are going to let you keep walleye off Mille Lacs.
Yeah, I don't follow. I never been up to Mille Lacs. I don't fish there regularly. Doug Glimmerveen has a podcast on it. On
does he?
Smackdown Outdoors podcast. They talk about it a little bit. That's always it's weird. Some of them, people are mad about it. Yeah, I can see where they're mad at it about some of the issues. We're big catch and release guys the way it is. At least I am.
Yep.
So if I have a chance to go somewhere where I could catch some big trophy fish, I'm going to go there and fish if I have that opportunity. If I have to let them go, I'll have to let them go. If I want to keep fish, well, then I got to know where other places are in the area that I can go and keep fish.
Yep. I think both me and you have been the type that will take a picture and get her gone.
Well, and like over we go over to Spirit Lake and the Okobojis a lot and fish over there, and they have a slot limit on theirs where everything 17 inches to 22 inches has to be released. And that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Because there's days you go over there and you catch nothing but 18-inch walleyes. And, an 18-inch walleye is a nice one to bring home. Or 17 and a half. We were over there last year and we caught a limit of walleyes, under the slot. But we caught a lot of them in the slot.
Yep.
But it's fun to catch them. And then, again, you're panfish, the thing that gets overlooked a lot of the times. Crappies early in the spring when they're starting to spawn, you get them big crappies. Remember to release those things.
Yep.
We all love bringing home crappies. Taste good, but keep those 9 to 11 to 12 inchers and let those 13, 14s go if you can. 13, 9 to 13 keepers and everything like that. But I always like this. Everybody always like, I'd love to catch a 14 or a 14 plus inch crappie or a 15-inch crappie. Well, if you're always keeping the 13-inch crappies, they're never going to get the 14 inches. So,
yep, that's right.
Just practice those selective harvest. And again, just because the limit says it's 25 and you want to eat fish, you don't need to bring 25 home. Just bring 10, 5. It makes the other day when we were over there on Sunday, I brought 4 bluegills home and a yellow bass for Emily and I, and that definitely was more than enough for a meal for us.
Yep.
So yeah, those are kind of like some of the things I like to use in the spring. Hair jigs always work well too, and a lot of different things. Don't be afraid to experiment with things. Just because you read an article or you watched a video that says, only use these things in the spring, it's
that's
with something.
It wasn't springtime, but last year when me and you went out there and did jigging wraps. Yeah. That was something totally outside of our comfort zone to go and do that, and that ended up being the highlight of my whole entire summer. Yeah. Doing something different, catching them a different way, and
that's you got to go out there and try things. That's what I did. I've been watching some videos on YouTube about it, and it's like, I'm going out here and I'm doing this. I'm going to try it. That's the only way you learn is to put the rod in your hand and start doing it. And just because all of a sudden you're fooling around and you're not really paying attention and you do something, you're like, boom, you catch one, you're just kind of like, whoa, what did I just do? That's not what the guy on the video, or that's not what the magazine said I'm supposed to do with this lure. So you say, okay, let me try that again. You start catching them. You develop your own way, your own pattern, and don't be afraid to do those type of things.
Yep. Northwest Sports Show this weekend?
I think we're heading up there on Saturday. We've talked about it. I think that we're going to give it a go. We better be quiet about it because there might be a snowstorm now since we said it. But
I went on the internet and looked through. Boy, they've got a lot of vendors up there.
Yeah, it's bigger than
that's a big one.
Bigger than what we have around here.
Yep. They listed the exhibitors in alphabetical order, and just the A's was like 2 pages, so it was really something.
That's kind of like just me doing the alphabet alone. After the A's, I kind of get a little bored. A, B, C, Z. So, no.
No, we'll give that a go, and I think that'll be fun. Quick little day trip, and hopefully see some new products, talk to some people.
Meet some people. If you see us walking around, come up and just say hi, or don't. If you see us 2 standing back over there kind of looking at you and talking to each other, Don't be alarmed. We're just in awe. No.
Yeah. No, yeah, if you're from up in that area and you're going to be going this weekend, shoot us a message, or, yeah, if you'd happen to see our ugly mugs walking around, come up and talk to us. So
Yeah, we might, you never know. We might have a couple decals along or something like that for you. Or if you want one and we're going to be up in the area, let us know.
yeah. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I got,
Yeah,
unless
that's
you got something else.
Kind of what we're doing, going around here. End of the ice season. I know there's still going to be some crazy cats out there giving it a go. Starting to transition over to the springtime stuff. So it's about time to start calling up. Probably better give Jeff Cruz a call to get the boat over there. So when I do hear that the ice is finally out, I can hook it up and go.
Yeah, I won't say that I'm 100% done. I've got Thursday night free, and if I could find a spot to go that I thought was going to be decent, or some, at least, like
I think
you say,
you'll be able to. You'll find somewhere.
yeah,
I think you'll be able to.
I think I'll give it a go, see what happens. But
Yeah, just like I said, who you going to bring?
I don't know. That's the thing. My brother said he can't go. Ramrod can't go. You're busy.
You know,
I don't know. If I happen to go over to Okoboji, maybe I'll text somebody over there, or I don't know, maybe try Pahoja or something. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I need to redeem myself from last night. I can't go out on that note.
no, well, yeah. Like I said, it was just tough, and it just makes you look forward to the next ice season already.
Yeah. Well,
You're always looking forward to
Yeah.
it. So, and who's to say that not this weekend or the weekend after you can always make a South Dakota run or
yep.
go up into Minnesota somewhere, because I'm pretty sure they'll have ice for a little while yet.
I wish you had your passport.
Yeah, I know you do. I need to get that passport. Not only we could go visit the Casting Deck podcast
Exactly.
guys.
Yep. DeToli says that we're going catfishing.
Yeah, I'm
gonna take
down
'em up
for
on
it. Some of them big fat cats up there.
Yep.
I think it's the Red River. So
Is it?
yeah, I think we could handle that.
Yeah, something different. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's the way we'll leave you this week. See you next week.